I think I don't even really want to open it because it's so big. But wouldn't that be a disappointing unboxing video if I just had a change of heart halfway through? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another unboxing video on How Do You Figure's YouTube channel. Of course, I am your host, Blake Schultz, one half of the How Do You Figure podcast that you can listen to weekly. I'm here doing another unboxing video because, candidly, I've started enjoying them, and it's a great way to see all of the different things I can do with my hair during quarantine. It's now been since February 12th, but that's not why we're here. It might be why I am, but it's not why you are. This week, we're taking another one in the Spider-Man Classics line. The Marvel Spider-Man's Kingpin, ladies and gentlemen. This is huge. I don't think there's any other word for it. Maybe big, if you want to use a not as effective word as huge, or giant, if you want to over-exaggerate. I don't think I would call it giant. I think a lot of the conversation is how just big the card is. There's a nice comparison shot next to a 6-inch Black Series figure, also on a vintage box. You saw me take out all the Spider-Man boxes, so I had no comparison for you with that. So we had to use the 40th anniversary A New Hope figure. It's basically the same thing. Another great part about this figure is that the font on the back is very readable, and as I enter my 30s, being able to just kind of look like it's a nice newspaper, and I don't have to worry too hard about what I'm reading. It's right there. I don't have to get all close up to it. Of course, this is it. We talked about this in the last episode. We had the great animated Spider-Man font. We have the great card back of him himself. We on the back, of course, see the big checklist, now even bigger if you need better glasses. You can see them easily. He comes with his cane, which is brought up on the little accessories tab. I feel like it's interesting to bring up that he has a cane when he is the size of a Hulk. You don't even need to bring it up. The entire box just speaks for itself. Ooh, you can feel it. It like hurts when you can't even when you do it that way, doesn't it? But it really takes some deltoid strength to get this guy open. You know? It's so big. It's my workout for the day. Great. Throw that on the ground and be done with it. It looks like everything in the packaging comes out with relative ease. Before we really do it, there he is. I don't know why, but I do. Oh. So the first thing I immediately noticed on this figure, as you saw from my expression, is the texture of his suit. It's not flocked, it's not cloth, but it feels different from everything else. It looks like you could remove it as a vest, which I really like. It gives it a little bit of extra detail and depth, and kind of see how it would go. If he had anything to reveal, he's got articulation kind of everywhere usual Marvel Legends do. He's got his great pinky ring on. He comes standard with the beat into a pulp head, which I think is exactly how Kingpin should kind of always be, because I feel like he always ends up getting beaten up because he's a villain written in a superhero movie and they often lose. So there he is. I'm bringing the camera down a little bit. You can kind of check him out here in his glory. He's got his little ascot because it's important for supervillains to be classy. You know, I like that trope of that they're evil, but they're really into like fine wines and classical music and arts, but they also want to burn the city to the ground. It's a fascinating way. I think it's kind of part of the give him an animal and then the audience will empathize with him. But instead it's like, no, make him very classist so that we would have burned him down and use his money to fund schools and churches, or maybe not. I don't know what you want to fund. The first guy that we're going to compare him to is another, big boy, and that's the Thanos, who was also stuck behind a Build-A-Figure line until he was in a 3-pack with Doctor Strange and Iron Man. Now, what's funny is I feel like mass-wise, Kingpin actually looks bigger, but Thanos is a little bit taller, which he kind of should be. He's like, the baddest of them. Because that cane is kind of worthless against, omnipotence, as they say. And we've got him next to Super Shredder. Another one where it's like Shredder's got a good inch on him. But, you see kind of that comparison there too. And he really does just stand up there with them. And you kind of stack him up there. And he doesn't actually seem that imposing next to Spider-Man. But again, even in the game, you whoop him right away. One thing I also really like about these bigger figures is it's just like, it's easy to work with them. Their articulation works really well because everything's like huge. They stand really easy. Putting their accessories in is really simple. I get so tired of like fussing with stuff. I just kind of want to, because eventually it's just going to sit somewhere and look very cool is what's going to happen in what is becoming just a giant one. So that's the Kingpin. He is enormous. I'd much rather have spent the $30 on this guy than I don't even remember which wave it was, but I believe it had the doppelganger Spider-Man with 6 arms. It had Black Widow. It had a few characters. I have one of his legs, but I always get so annoyed with that because there's always one that I just don't care about. And then I've got to spend, $120 to get this one figure? No. Put it in a giant card, make it look really cool, make the figure come out, put a $30 price tag on it, and let's call it a day. We're buying those already. I get the marketing gimmick behind it. I understand you wanted me to go out and get every single thing and spend all this money, but I would rather, there's got to be evidence that it's better to just put things in a package that people want and give it to them, right? Maybe not. I've always liked Kingpin because I think when you get down to kind of what it is, right? These street level villains. We spend so much time being cosmic in the Marvel universe, especially in the MCU. And I'm really hoping that as it goes forward, we get more kind of street level business people like Kingpin or Norman Osborn or something else. I've always just appreciated the accessibility of somebody being at the top of a skyscraper that you can go fight. It also, there's always some huge thing when you have to stop a cosmic guy, but it usually boils down to like, get the glowing rock and hit it before he does, and then you have the power. But when you're up against somebody like Kingpin or Norman Osborn or the Joker or anybody without powers, it becomes more mindful. And I think there are great superhero stories, even akin back to the original Superman, where it wasn't really about his fists or his strength. He had to figure out how to become a better realtor than Lex Luthor, which is, I believe, how that ended. It's not. He just was smarter. And I like that. I'd like to kind of see a Kingpin go up against a Tom Holland Spider-Man now and us see him have to outwit this criminal mastermind. There's also something I think very great about a character, a fictional one, not a real one, who goes from being a businessman to terrorizing a city. It's a great figure. I think it's well worth the $30. I just ordered it on Amazon, so it wasn't like hard to find. I don't know the rarity or anything else. I'm still not going out, obviously, as you can tell, because it's just getting so long.